Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today we're going to review a case that's unsolved regarding Lauren Spierer. Lauren Spierer was born January 17th, 1991. She's an American woman who is presumed dead after she disappeared on June 3rd, 2011, following an evening at Kilroy Sports Bar, which is in Bloomington, Indiana. She was 20 years old, a student at Indiana University. Her disappearance generated national press coverage and remains unsolved. She was born to Charlene and Robert Spierer. Her father was an accountant, and she grew up in Scarsdale, New York, an affluent town in lower Westchester County. She graduated from Edgemont High School in 2009 and enrolled in Indiana University, where she was studying textiles merchandising. She was active in the Jewish community at IU and spent the previous break planting trees in Israel on behalf of the Jewish National Fund. She met her boyfriend Jesse Wolf and her friend Jay Rosenbaum years earlier at Camp Towanda, a summer camp in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. It was there she also met a variety of other IU students who later became a circle of friends when she enrolled there in 2009. Let's get to the night she disappeared. She was drinking with several friends. Wolf stated Wolf is the boyfriend, stated he did not go out with Spierer or her friends that evening, but he was texting back and forth with Spierer before he went to bed. According to witnesses, Spierer was very intoxicated, and the Bloomington police used video surveillance to create a timeline just before her disappearance. 12:30 a.m., witnesses report that she left the apartment with a friend, David Rohn, R-O-H-N. The pair went to Jay Rosenbaum's apartment, where she met up with Corey Rossman, Rosenbaum's neighbor. 1:46 a.m., she's entering Kilroy Sports Bar. 2:27 a.m., she exited the bar with Rossman, left her cell phone and shoes at the bar because she'd taken her shoes off when she walked on the sand-covered patio. Rossman walked with Spierer to her apartment complex. 2:30 a.m., she's seen entering the Smallwood Plaza Apartments, where her residence is located. A passerby, Zach Oakes, noticed her level of inebriation and asked if she was okay. 2:48 a.m., she left the apartments, entered an alley that runs between College Avenue and Morton Street. Security cameras mounted on nearby apartments showed that she exited at 2:51 a.m., and walked toward an empty lot. Her keys and purse were found along this route through the alley. Spearman and Rossman arrived at Rossman's apartment shortly afterwards. Michael Beth, Rossman's roommate, was at the apartment. Rossman himself was very intoxicated and stumbling and vomited on the carpet on the way upstairs. Beth stated that he escorted Rossman to bed. He then tried to persuade Spierer to sleep overnight for her own safety. He claimed that Spierer said she wanted to return to her own apartment. 3:30 a.m., Beth said he phoned his neighbor Rossman wanting him to take care of Spierer. Beth said that Spierer was attempting to get Beth to drink with her at her own apartment. She eventually went to Rosenbaum's apartment, where he absorbed a bruise under her eye, presumably from a fall earlier that evening that she didn't know how she got that bruise. This is what Spierer claimed. 2 calls were placed to Rosenbaum's phone shortly before she is reported to have left. Rosenbaum said Spierer placed both calls, one to Rohn and one to the other friend. Neither picked up and no messages were left. 4:30 a.m., Rosenbaum reports that Spierer left the apartment. This is the last sighting of her. He reported last seeing Spierer at the intersection of 11th and College Avenue, headed south on College. She was last seen barefoot, wearing black leggings and a white shirt. Several hours later, Wolf, her boyfriend, sent her, Spierer, a text. He received a reply from the employee at the bar, and that's when he reported her missing. The investigation: in August of 2011, they conducted a 9-day search of the Sycamore Ridge landfill south of Terre Haute for clues of her disappearance. This is where the Bloomington hauls their trash. The Bloomington Police, the Indiana University, the Police Department, and the FBI took part in the search on May 24th of 2013. Neighbors received 3,060 tips on Spierer's disappearance, 100 of them during the first half of 2013. January of 2016, the FBI raided a home in Martinsville, 20 miles north of Bloomington, of a man suspected of exposing himself to numerous women. The FBI and the police agencies converged on the home, and the investigators took dogs and they sifted through the investigators sifted dirt removed from a barn in the nearby property, and then they used cadaver dogs to finish their work. They would not discuss anything significant that was found, and they towed a white truck from the property. The truck may be connected to 35-year-old Justin Wagers, who lived there with his mother and stepfather until his last arrest. A number of theories have appeared or surfaced regarding Spierer. Spierer's parents believe their daughter is dead. Based on her level of intoxication, they also felt she could have been drugged at the bar at Kilroy's. They voiced suspicions about the men she was with, as well as Wolf, because they refused to take polygraphs and retained lawyers shortly after Spierer disappeared. While the parents haven't made any specific accusations, they believe the two know more than what they have told the police so far, and the men have taken privately polygraphs as well as one from the FBI. But the parents evidently do not trust Bloomington police, and they retained lawyers. Regarding Spear's level of intoxication, her friends and Wolf and police said that she used drugs in addition to alcohol, and on the night leading up to her disappearance, Wolf's mother alleged that Spierer was asked to leave the summer camp where she met her son in Rosenbaum years earlier because of drug use. Rosenbaum told investigators that Spierer consumed alcohol, snorted cocaine, and crushed up Klonopin tablets that evening. She had a rare heart condition called long QT syndrome that added to the danger of drug use. Police addressed rumors that implied Spierer may have overdosed and that they hid her body to avoid criminal charges. They ruled out these possibilities, and however, they have not ruled out other possibilities such as abduction by a stranger. All right, so let's go down and, here, I want to do a further investigation. April 2015, Bloomington police announced they're investigating a link between Lauren's disappearance and the murder of another IU student, Hannah Wilson, who went missing April 24th, 2015 after visiting the same bar, Kilroy's. Wilson was last seen getting into a taxi in front of the bar, and her body was found the next morning in Brown County. A local man named Daniel Messel was arrested for the murder after his cell phone was discovered near the body. So, Spear's parents had previously stated they did not believe her disappearance was a random abduction. In July of 2015, Dietl concluded that the two cases are unrelated, and but there were similarities. However, they viewed them as just coincidental. In January 28, 2016, the FBI and other police agencies investigated a property at the 2900 block of Old Morgantown Road in Martinsville, released by the FBI. They were following up on leads and searched the property with cadaver dogs, but found nothing. So Spear's case has been covered by several podcasts, True Crime's 34th episode. So it sounds like this is a good case to actually ask and consult the tarot cards. Now, before I put the screen over to the cards, I just want to say that I felt like I should go use a different tarot deck in addition to my regular ones for this reading tonight. So it was very weird. I went into the cupboard and I just kind of stared at all my tarot decks, and I decided to bring out Elemental Tarot. I've never used it before. I've never read with it before. So I will be actually using that alongside some of my others. So let's get straight to it and let's ask the tarot cards about this case. This is the box of what the Elemental Tarot looks like. Interesting. All right. So I'm going to ask the Elemental Tarot deck, as well as another deck. What happened to Lauren Spierer? What happened to Lauren Spierer? Isn't this interesting? A man with lizards coming out of his head. It's a seven card. I'm not familiar with this deck at all, so I don't know what that is. I'm not familiar with how they label this deck at all. Are you kidding me? I completely shuffled and got 2 7s. So I'm going to write down the number 7. Something is going on with the number 7. And this is dolphins, kind of in an underwater scene. Oh. I wonder if she was placed underwater. This is going to be interesting. I'll pull one more card from this deck, and then I'll switch to my other deck. And this is a 5. We got a similar looking man. He's got facial hair. Now, it looks like a lot of these cards are lizard based, so I don't think we can really hone in on the lizards. But this definitely feels like the same person, you know, just based on the facial hair. It feels like the same person. All right. So I don't know why I pulled that deck, but I'm going to put that deck aside for now. And I'm going to ask, what happened to Lauren Spierer the night of June 3rd, 2011, when she was last seen? This is my go-to deck, the Robinwood. Wow, we're getting water. I'm going to write down water. She's definitely was put in water. Now, this just means that too much to drink. Like there's drinking over here, there's drinking over here. Searching. So they're in the dark with a light, searching. I'm just going to keep going with the story. I don't necessarily go in order. This indicates like a prayer chain for her, like somebody's praying for her. And this also is a vow to silence. Like, shh, don't ever speak a word of this night ever again. That type of vow of silence. She was definitely taken against her will. This is trapped. She wanted out. She was trapped. So this is the devil card. So this is definitely suspicious that she didn't just go off and wander into a lake and, you know, drown from being drunk. She was, you know, this also can be a, you know, drugs tied into this, you know, that, you know, they all could have been doing some kind of substance abuse, because the devil can be about substance abuse. And this is somebody who is just out miserable, right? Absolutely miserable. The 5 of Pentacles is like physical suffering. They're just miserable. They, you know, and it does appear that she just didn't know where she was, right? I have a feeling that wherever she was taken, she didn't know where she was. She didn't have any idea where she was. So this could have been drugs used, you know, to create a situation where she wouldn't know even where she was going, right? Oh boy. And then we have the death. Yeah, I think the parents had I don't, you know, normally when they're missing, I don't predict if somebody is deceased or not on missing cases, because it's not fair to the family, because not all readings are 100%. Never. They're never 100%. But in this case, she was definitely, she's definitely deceased, okay? And there was bloodshed here. There was blood. There was bloodshed. So she was definitely deceased. This is, you know, tied in to some kind of the devil is drug use, you know, drug use and it just went horribly wrong. It just went horribly wrong that evening. So let's just keep going. This is someone who's resting in peace. So this is kind of sometimes my card, you know, when they put someone in a casket and their head's on a pillow and they're resting in peace. So this is just my card that the person is at peace now. So whatever happened to them, you know, they passed away, and that they just come back as a shining star, and that they tell everybody that they're at peace now. This is a card about drinking and cover-ups, all right? Cloaks are for hidden. And then once again, we have bloodshed. Just like on the Ten of Swords, we have bloodshed, bloodshed. There was definitely blood shed, and it was covered up and hidden. And there's two main characters here, two main people. So I'm going to write the thing down, two people. So I think there was two people here that could have potentially, this is all allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, there's two people that I would call suspects in this. I feel like when the page comes that these are young people. So these would be college students. One of them had a weapon. So the weapon was used. I keep getting, I look at the sword and I look at the knives on the table. So I believe that the end came to her through stabbing. This is just what I'm going to conclude. I feel like where she is tied to where deers shed their horns. Like they masked, they didn't want her body found. So it's where deers shed their horns. Yeah, that can be any woods. I understand that. But this is just what I'm getting from the cards. And once again, I don't think she knew where she was being taken. Similar to the Devil card, I don't think she knew. There was some constraint. She was constrained or secured so that she couldn't get away. Blindfolded, possibly. Not always. It's almost like Spirit saying people that she thought were her friends. She thought they were her friends, and this is the Rainbow Bridge. She is now spirit of energy over the Rainbow Bridge, and these were people that like she thought she trusted. This is like, oh my God, I thought that I trusted these people. Thought that I trusted these people. Wow. And then we get the Death card, in the woods by birch trees. Birch trees. Birch trees. I wonder if there's a grove of birch trees nearby, and where there's an opening where plants and stuff don't grow right now. I mean, I don't know right now, but back then, if there was a place where plants didn't grow, I mean, this is another cloak. It's hidden. Death and this can be relationships, and then death. This is very interesting. I feel like one of the people who might be responsible could possibly have their own business now, have worked up levels, like worked up degrees, gotten different degrees, and is working, at a very successful job. This is the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like they could have a very successful job. And I feel like the people responsible for this just chalked it up as a nightmare from hell evening, where they kind of lost control of themselves, had a temper maybe about something, that like this is the fired up, the temper, and things just going wrong. So I'm going to grab another deck. I'm going to grab the Haunted House Tarot, and I'm going to ask, is Lauren going to be found? Is her body going to be discovered? She was quite angry when this happened. Why? B and J. B and J are on the temple. B, J. B and J. Interesting. I don't want to say any more about that. I'm asking if her body's going to be found. This is somebody like coming in through a doorway and discovering something. You know what? I think somebody who saw it has guilt. Somebody who witnessed what happened to her, because see, she's witnessing this. She's witnessing this couple. She's witnessing something and she wants to expose it. So it could be that the guilt eats that person to the point where they actually come forward with information, because I don't think they can go on with their life and be happy until they know, until they expose it. Interesting. This is somebody that it's almost like they're sitting back there ashamed of what happened. Somebody is like ashamed of what happened. Yeah, Five of Wands. This is like people, this is challenging in a battle. This is probably a nightmare for the people that know about it, that were close, that were in the, in the picture. I actually want to attempt to contact Lauren on the other side. She may not know who did it, and I don't know if she'll talk. All of this is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. I use the steampunk for communicating with the deceased. Lauren, can you tell us, do you know what happened to you that night of June 3rd? So this is foggy. So things were foggy to her. This, like she said, her mind was in a complete fog that night. Do you know at all what happened to you? No, she was drinking. Okay. Well, at least you're being honest, Lauren. I mean, you know, that's what college kids do. They have a few drinks. I'm not going to make her feel guilty at all about what happened to her. But she's like, admitting that there was, alcohol. There was so much alcohol that night. And that's okay if you don't know what happened to you. Okay, so the next thing she knew, she was flying high above the sky, looking down at her body. Lauren, do you know who did this to you? Do you know who did this to you? Do you know how you ended up dead, or do you know how this happened? Oh, this is so interesting because it's similar to that Two of Cups, where it's like people that she knew and people that she trusted. Huh. Wonder if one of them used to wear something like bow ties around his neck and tall hats. Like a bow tie around the neck and a very unusual hat. Don't know, but it's interesting. She said, I was a defiant young woman. I was a very defiant young woman, and nobody was going to tell me what to do. Well, Lauren, you're like most other, kids. There's nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with you. You were just a college child. Yeah, she said I had a drinking problem. Okay. I'm just going to tell her I'm very sorry. She is admitting that she did have a problem with drinking. And, Lauren, I'm very sorry about that. How are you doing now, Lauren? I know the cards indicated that you were at peace now. Yeah, so she is. This is actually the Two of Wands, which is a card about being at peace, being up in the heavens and looking down. So she is very much at peace. The sky is beautiful. So she's in a beautiful place. So it doesn't really pay to talk to her anymore because I don't think she really knows. I think she suspects, but I'm not going to trust her judgment because she's obviously admitting that she was under the influence, and things were foggy to her. So I really feel like she just doesn't really know. Are the people who did this, is justice going to be served? I'm asking my universal weight, is justice going to be served in this case? Are the people who did this eventually going to be caught? Ooh, Five of Wands came up again. more than one person. Oh, wow. That's my college kid card. And that could be somebody who's so focused on this that they decide to turn over information. I think somebody, like I predicted, oh yeah, somebody knows about this. You know, here's what I think. I think one of the people responsible told a girlfriend in confidence or told a woman friend in confidence. And look at her volunteering. At any point, she could volunteer and give this information. Now, are the police going to do something with this information? Are they going to go after this tip? Okay, so some of this is, some of this is what she's saying is they may not, be able to go after everything that she's telling about, because that's the card that it's going to be somewhat burdensome. I think this case is going to be solved. I don't think this is going to be cold case. Once again, we've got some water nearby because there's water here. There's water here. So we're getting a hint near water, stones. There could be some stones that were thrown somewhere near. It's definitely a waterway. I think that this case could be solved. I'm going to put a lot of energy into this, that this case be solved and that this young woman's death, that the parents can at least know that this is solved. And so let's really put a lot of energy out there that this case will be solved and that the people responsible will have justice served. Even if it's many years later, it doesn't matter as long as it's solved. So Knight of Cups is a good card to end on. We send our prayers and thoughts out to the family and friends and everyone involved in this. And we really send the energy through the Knight of Cups. This is a great card for solving something. He's got the evidence in his hand. This is Mercury, the messenger. There's going to be some messages come. He's going to compile the information and go after the people who did this. Thank you for joining my channel, and I'll see you on the next mystery.